The power play has a power outage as the Anaheim Ducks come in and spoil the Flyers' 2016-2017 home opener. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Patrick Lynn, and welcome back to the Orange and Black Attack as the Flyers fall to the Anaheim Ducks 3-2 in the 2016-2017 home opener. Wonderful ceremonies before the game, honoring those who have fallen, who are no longer with the Flyers organization, and having with Ed Snyder to have the light show again. Tough loss tonight. The power play did not show up. It scored once, but I'll get into that in a little bit. Let's get into this game. The Ducks strike first as Wagner is able to get a drop pass in the first period. He's able to get a pass. He gets a pass drop to him, and he fires it past Steve Mason. And the Anaheim Ducks take a 1-0 lead. They'll hold that lead going into the second period. And the Flyers would strike actually on the power play in the second period as all aboard the Wayne trade. Wayne Simmonds is able to get it past Gibson to tie the game at 1-1. Later on in the period, Matt Reed gets a rush off the left side of the boards and cuts in front and gives the Flyers a 2-1 lead as Matt Reed is starting to actually have a really good start to the season. I was very critical of Matt Reed last year. I thought maybe he was one of the guys that needs to go, but he's performed so far, giving the Flyers the secondary scoring. The Flyers take the lead going into the third period. Hold on. Now, Flyers take the lead. They have a 2-1 lead. Later in the second period, Corey Perry gets right in the slot and blasts one past Steve Mason to tie the game up at 2. Game's tied 2-2 going into the third period, and then that's when the Ducks would take over with about less than 10 minutes left. Garbutt gets a delayed penalty on the Flyers. Garbutt gets his puck out in front to him, and he is able to wrist it past Steve Mason, and that's going to cap off the scoring. The problem with this game was it was the same thing that happened last year with the Flyers. Their power play, it's not good. You get 7 chances, and the Ducks are being very, they're being very undisciplined and taking all these penalties. They had a lot of penalties in the game prior to this to the against the New Jersey Devils, and they continue their undisciplined ways, and you can't capitalize except for one. That's a problem, and that came back to bite the Flyers in their butt. I mean, if they could have capitalized, if they would have scored at least 2 more times on the power play, we'd be talking about a Flyers win tonight. But we're not talking about a Flyers win tonight. We're talking about a Flyers loss because the power play didn't show up. When your power play is so predictable, teams are going to start to pressure you and be very, very, up on you and pressure you to make mistakes. And that's what the Ducks do. And that's what every team is going to do to the Flyers power play, being since it is so predictable. It's time to change things up. I think you need to split up Giroux and Voracek. They can't do it alone. I'm sorry. Konechny took a couple of shots to the head in this game. That's kind of scary. Provorov looked a lot better. Steve Mason looked like he was okay tonight. Just, we can't stop shots that are going to be right in the slot when the defense gives up chances. So, hard fought loss. I mean, the Flyers had the lead going, had the lead in the second period, but they gave up the lead. I know a lot of fans are going to be critical about Steve Mason, but we're still early in the season. It's just a tough loss tonight. On a night where we celebrate our, 50 years of Flyers hockey. Nice little tribute to all the people who are no longer with the organization, who were with the organization, and for Ed Snyder, putting his name up in the rafters. It was just a tough loss. Your goal scorers, Wagner for the Ducks in the first period, Wayne Simmonds and Matt Reed for the Flyers in the second period, and Corey Perry for the Ducks in the second period, and Garbutt for the Ducks in the third period. Day off tomorrow. The Flyers have off tomorrow, but they're right back at it Saturday night at 7 o'clock against the Carolina Hurricanes. Hurricanes are one of the few teams that have not gotten a win, but hopefully the Flyers can turn around at 7 o'clock Eastern Standard Time on Comcast Sportsnet for those who live in the Philadelphia area, 4 o'clock for those who live on the West Coast, as the Philadelphia Flyers take on the Carolina Hurricanes. Just got to bounce back and try to, come back and get one win, get a little streak going. We got a lot of home games coming up within the next week or so. So we got a lot of. We're going to be playing in our own barn for a while. So Saturday night, 7 o'clock, as the Carolina Hurricanes come to town to take on your Philadelphia Flyers. Once again, it is the 7 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, 4 o'clock for those who live on the West Coast. It'll be on CSN for those who live in the Philadelphia area, Comcast Sportsnet. Tough loss tonight, and as I always end my episodes, good night and good hockey.